honey, if you want an excuse to not do nothing to your body, just don't do nothing. But trying to convince other people to not upgrade themselves is it's weird because it comes off like you want all of us to be ugly with you, not just like you should love yourself. It comes off like saying, well, if this person wants to fix something that I have on my body, then that means that there's something wrong with me. Baby, that's a you problem. Because who said that? This is why you got to pay attention when you do stuff. I put my multivitamin down on my table on my desk, along with my collagen, my vitamin E, vitamin C. I'm also taking a B12. What do you call it? Like that has the B2, B6, B7, and B12 all complex. B12, I mean a B complex vitamin. I think that's what it's called, or a supplement. And that's what I did yesterday. I put all my stuff out and was getting ready to take it. But I was in the middle of doing something else and I was going to take my multivitamin, let that settle after drinking some water, and then take the rest of my vitamins like I always do. I looked down. It was like, where my vitamin roll to? So I'm looking for it on the floor and stuff. I'm like, where the hell? So, oh, I'm so glad that our body pees out. I think I took the first one and then I pulled out another one and I feel like I took it. And then I looked down and said, where my pill go? I was like, oh shoot, did I just take two? I sound like my mother. That never happens to me. Like I'd be almost about to, and then I look down, I'm like, oh yeah, there it goes. But that doesn't happen to me. So slow down and take your time. I also notice that that happens when I eat sugar. I get a little bit more distracted. So if that happens to you, try cutting out sugar. Don't forget that certain carbs and stuff have high levels of sugar as well, not just the obvious sweets and stuff. Certain carbs um, can slow down your digestive system, which can slow down your brain. So if you notice that happens, cut out some of the not so good stuff in your diet and see if that helps. Well, I'm taking my vitamin too. Mm. We are not biohacking. We are getting our bodies to its most optimal level. Mm. And biohacking is a new term that white people came up with, white men, white health nuts, to take different supplements and stuff to, I don't know if it's new, it could have been around, to make your body better, faster. And like it's a shortcut, but it's not really a shortcut. But some people have to be lied to and told that it's a shortcut. It's a way of life. So it's like when veganism trends, a celebrity starts becoming a vegan and people hops on that wave. They do it to get people on a healthier wave. That's all. Because a lot of us have been fat, sloppy, and I say sloppy in the sense of I've seen some sloppy shit. Like I've seen some fat, nasty, sloppy shit, and I'm just like, that's disgusting. Like, like, and I knew it was disgusting and sad when I saw women starting to act like those men that we make fun of in their basements with the Cheeto dust and shit all over there. Yeah, that's fat, sloppy, and nasty. Stop that. So they're trying to get us healthier, but they're doing it in a very subtle way. So they call it biohacking. And they give all the benefits of long life and youth and all this stuff, which if you just live a healthy lifestyle, 9.9 times out of 10, that's what comes along with it. I speak from experience. Now, we are on new journeys, and some of us are continuing journeys to live better lifestyles, not just for looks, but also for feeling. So it's a combination. And I like the glow. It's been this weird thing of people trying to get folks to, or who women who are, okay, I'm gonna say it just like this. It's like the body positivity movement. At first, it was absolutely meant for women to embrace themselves, especially with our hormonal balances and changes and stuff that our body goes through. But then it started to become an excuse for women to get fatter, for them to get sloppier, for them to stop caring about how they look. And I'm talking about those, you know them ones because you've seen them on TikTok and you've seen them on Instagram. And I'm just like, you just don't want to put no effort into anything that you do. You want to be accepted like a man. You don't want to have to put in any effort into anything that you do, but you want people to praise you as though you're a goddess when you don't even actually really like yourself. Because if you like yourself, you wouldn't push yourself beyond certain boundaries for the sake of proving a point. That's what men do. And then complain about why can't I get this or why do I feel like this and why is my health like this? That's why. But there's I noticed this trend over the last few years where women who don't want to put any effort into what they do looks wise, and that's fine because child, the world we know. But they're starting to argue with women who actually want to improve their looks, who actually are like, I want to glow. If I could prevent rapid aging, because I'm looking down at my phone or things that could be preventable, or I'm hunched over or something, or, if I find out that a like puffiness in my face doesn't have to happen, it's because we've gotten used to a certain way of living and a lifestyle that kind of promotes the bad, not bad, but the unnatural buildup, or the what do you call it, the not relaxing in the muscles, but our faces have become tight and tense, or maybe like there's this new phenomenon I'm noticing of men who don't have a jawline, and not like a natural genetic type of thing, because there are some cultures that don't have a defined jawline. But I remember watching a video of this white man. It was kind of trending amongst the white boys, and that's where the jaw surgery started coming from. A guy was like, "Y'all eat too much processed food." I was like, "That I can agree with." There was a guy that I knew. This motherfucker never crunched on anything except for chips, and his jawline was non-existent. But also, there was another guy that I knew. His jawline became non-existent. No, he didn't gain a bunch of weight. He actually gained maybe 10 pounds. But I could see over time his face becoming more and more rounder, his jawline becoming less and less defined. And it was because he stopped eating foods that had a natural crunch to it, that you actually had to put some effort into eating, and was eating a bunch of like meat patties, specifically meat patties, not hamburgers. When you got to make the meat patties. Who knows what the fuck is in that shit? Hot dogs and stuff you pull out of the freezer and you pop in a microwave, soft, mushy food like you're an old person or like you are a baby. And I love it. I don't know if it's my Capricorn placements, but I love a strong, defined jawline in anybody, like literally anybody. And it doesn't have to be strong. Even women with round faces, I love defined features. And for me, I call that defined features. Like even if a woman has like puffy cheeks, that's a defined feature. It's something that stands out. I love features that stand out. Not a really long Pinocchio nose. I don't. Then again, I don't date Europeans, but specifically, I said Pinocchio nose and Europeans. You know what kind of nose I'm talking about. But I like a defined feature is so cute. Like that buccal fat that people are getting removed. I love that. I think it make your face look so youthful. And the older that you get, the more youthful you look. Some women think it makes them look too young. For some, it does. But a lot of women think short term. What I want right now, not just women, a lot of people like with the BBL craze. So many girls at 18 and 19, same with boobs back in the 2000s, 16 years old getting boob jobs. And I'm like, you got another 15 years, your body might grow. Baby, after 25 or 20, no, it was closer to 30. I got hips. Like, and I've always been shapely. But when I tell you my shape got more shapely after like 28, and this is on top of the weight that I gained, but my hips like were more shapely. It wasn't just the weight that I gained. The shape of my body changed. Because even when I lost weight, I still have that shape. That contour of how your bone, not bones, like muscle and stuff naturally lay. Of course, you add in, with weight training and working out and what do you call it, weight gain or fat gain, you add and define. But I noticed my body definitely looked different the older I got, and my boobs got bigger. Like right now they're very small because I lost a lot of weight. I think I weigh like 130 now, which is the smallest I've ever been. But my boobs got huge. And I was like, I've always had like average C, but because I gained weight so fast when I was younger, I started going through puberty at 9. People used to think that I was lying. I started my period at 9. Like I started spotting. I specifically remember the day that I got my period because we were at a restaurant. And I told my mom I had to go to the bathroom. It was after church and she was at one of her church meetings. And I was like, excuse me. Like, cause it was some ladies in the bathroom. I was like, and I described my mom and the table she was sitting at, what she was wearing. I said, I think I just started my period. And I'm so glad my mother taught me about what my body was going to go through. Cause I feel for any girls that have to go through that stuff and their mothers and never mention it to them. That is so weird to me. And I know it's a indicative of a bigger issue, but that is so strange to me. I knew at like 6 and 7. My mother was telling me about certain things. I think at the time she adopted me, she still was getting her period. So she let me know, what was going on and what I could expect. She started her period at like, I think she said 15, which was the average when she was growing up in the 60s, 15, 16. But, the hormones in the food, the atmosphere changing and stress and stuff like that, they got lower. And I started mine at 9 and she was so shocked. Like she came in and was like, she wasn't expecting but another 5 years or so. And my best friends at the time, well, I met them when I was like in middle school, but my best friends at the time didn't start theirs until between 14 and 17. I think one of my friends, because she played sports and she danced, the more active you are also, the less, the more testosterone you may have, because we all have a certain level of everything. But I definitely had a lot more estrogen in my body because of health as well as some processed foods I may have been eating and things like all of that stuff, and some genetics. So I think my birth mother started her period a few years. She was a few years younger, I think, than my adopted mother. They were sisters. I think she may have been like 12 or something like that. So so had I been a little bit more active and my diet had not been adding more things. I think that was around the time my mother started to really, really change our diet too. But we always ate balanced, but she started putting more of a focus and doing more research too. So I'm grateful for that. And now I can relay the information that she taught me and the way that she taught me how to dig into research to people who are listening. We continue the good cycles and sharing the information because some people just don't know. But there, excuse me. Oh yeah, fourth grade, my boobs were a C. And I grew so fast and I grew up like I stretched. So every part of me stretched. So at 9 and 10 years old, I had really deep tiger stripes, stretch marks going across my shoulders and my chest area. And I used to hate them because women that had them, they used to hide them. And so there was always this shame of get rid of your stretch marks, this, that, and the third. I learned to love my stretch marks. And I actually started to get compliments on my stretch marks because when I would go out and about and I would show them off, would be like, I love how you just you just showing your stretch marks off. Like I love that. And I was like, yeah, I learned to love them. Like I really love them now. Like it's and I tell you, there's a huge stretch mark fetish. So, like Cat Williams said, you don't care. Real adults don't care. Grown-minded adults don't care, and I'm not even just specifying men. Grown-ass adults don't give a fuck. He just say either you were big and got small, or you were small and got big. Either way, either way. Like what type of grown-ass man talking about some stretch marks? Like an uneducated, ignorant one. And if your pussy still gets wet for an uneducated, ignorant man, you got some work to do on yourself, honey. And even if your pussy don't get wet for him, if you are still sleeping with one, because we know society teaches women to women and girls to fuck men that they don't actually want to fuck. and feel shame if we don't. So stop that. But when I lost weight, when my body started to, I want to say even out, because I was a little round, just a little round. I still had a shape, but I was round. It was a little rotund, just a little, because I was short, like 5'2" and 130 pounds. But I started to get taller, and I stayed the same weight, maybe gained 20 pounds. By the time I was in sixth grade, so I was like 150. And by the time I was in seventh and eighth, I was like 160. And I maintained between 165, 175 until I graduated high school. And then that's when I started to lose weight, I think my senior year, because I think it was my 11th grade year, because we were in PE. And our PE teacher made us want to work out, even though I don't do those workouts anymore because I hate them. But the type of coach that he was, he made it funny and fun to want to work out, and that made the difference. Made me not hate working out so much. But my skin stretched. So my breasts always sagged because I gained so much weight, and then the skin had nowhere to go. The more I started to go through puberty, so it stretched. So I've always had low hanging fruit. No, my boobs have always just dropped. And I hated that for so long. And then I learned to love them. Now I'm part of the itty bitty titty committee, so I would prefer to not wear a bra. So because it's mostly skin now, like pretty much, like it's pretty much mostly skin. It's like holding a child's stocking. And truth be told, I would prefer to just not have to wear a bra. To keep them from, like, if I run or dance or something, to keep them from bouncing. So, but I learned to love my body, but I know when I'm slacking. And that's indicative of a bigger issue of, like, you don't truly care for yourself. And I noticed that the women that have the biggest, you gotta love yourself in any way. You want to be able to be lazy with your self care. And if you're going through a lot, that's valid. You know, that's valid. But to try to force people, to go back to my original point, to try to force women to accept themselves as they are, not because you should accept yourself as you are first, because there are a lot of women who don't like themselves and then they overdo it with the surgery, not because it's intentional. Like with the twins that's been in the Kanye West and Nicki Minaj video, I love them. They give blow up doll, and that's the look that they're going for. People, oh, they must hate them. They're going, it's a fetish. They're going for blow up doll. That's intentional. But there are a lot of women who weren't going for blow up doll, and they just kept altering their bodies, and then it became botched. That's a difference. So when you don't, I was talking to somebody and they weren't seeing my point with that. I said, this is why it's important to like yourself as you are, because over the next 10, 15, 20 years, you will be able to do stuff with your features that you have never been done, that has never been done before. People will be like Dolly Parton and all them were rumored to have, like, take out ribs and shit. You will be able to put attachments onto your face over the next 40, 50, however many years, that you've never been able to put on your body before. And for some, that may cause complications. Your body may reject it. So it's not just let people do what they want to with their body. That is such a juvenile ass response to me. If that's what you say, first of all, if you got to say it to somebody, just do what the fuck you want. You don't have to announce, let people do what they want with their body. That's a childish juvenile response, unless you're trying to just let somebody know. But if you get offended when people are like, love yourself or whatever, you may need to grow up, because what's the reason you're really doing it? For somebody else's approval? You need somebody else's approval to say, it's okay, you can do what you want with your body. You don't actually, there's a connection there too. But people, oh yeah, people, some women who don't actually like themselves, don't like how they look at all, and wish that they could change. They tend to go too far and then regret it the older that they get, and that's your choice. But I like preventative more than trying to find the fix to something that could have been avoided in the first place, because that's a lot of money. to be invested in yourself, a lot of surgeries, a lot of healing time. And most of their I've met women like that. And all of their time is spent on obsessing with how they look. So that's the flip side. But when women want to, if they see the way that their mothers look and they didn't have the tools, and I'm more so talking about white women because we know how they age. Come on now, women of color, we know how white women age, and I can't even really say European because I've seen some like Italian women that are like actual, true, factual Italian, like fresh off the boat. They age pretty well. It's American white women that age like milk too. Russian women, even when they look older, they look good. Like white American women, y'all need to tap back into y'all roots like the rest of us. Even though y'all genetics are slightly different too, because you're mixed with French and Italian and Greek, and yes, that's still European, but there's still features and things and like if the Greeks can stay out all day in the summer, I don't know how y'all skin work, but another type of white person or European can't. Those genes coming together, I'm actually curious how that would affect somebody who has, four different types of white in them. I'm very curious. Like, does their skin get even thinner the more white people they have? And this is the esthetician in me, really curious because I had white clients, and I remember the differences in the elasticity in their skin and how soft their skin felt, but it almost felt like you didn't want to touch it. Like if I push on your skin, I might mush it. Like death becomes her. Like you might melt. And not in a good way. I'm like, oh, you gotta run from the sun. Like you can't stand out in the sun for shit. You like your skin is so thin. I am through the epidermis and the other layers, and I'm touching joint and flesh. Like I'm touching the white meat right now. And yes, I'm laughing at it because it's funny. But if women want to, if we have certain tools that come out and certain products that come out, that's like saying learn to love yourself and your skin is dry. If somebody did, first of all, they use lard and tallow and stuff. What tallow? Something like that back in the day when they didn't have, regular moisturizers. We have moisturizers now. Just because it wasn't out when our great 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 grandparents, first of all, our great grandparents used something different. Like they recognized when their skin was dry. I don't know what it is about this generation that just like to walk around just dry. I know for a fact, no matter the race, our ancestors put something on their body. It might have been Crisco. Crisco is shortening. It might have been lard. It might have been something, but they were not. But if there's certain products and tools and advancements and stuff to make us look like our best self, and it makes us feel good, I do not see no harm in doing it. There was a woman in the comment section that was attempting to like argue with women because one woman was like she can't stand her jowls, and she noticed that during COVID, uh, because she said her mother has them, but she started getting them when she was older. She said she during COVID because she was so stressed, she noticed she started getting them younger. So she was like, I don't like them. I don't. And this woman was so, she was like, it was like a facial massage video. Like, cause, and there was a woman, a dermatologist, who was explaining how our skin and muscles and things can get too relaxed, or how like lymph nodes and stuff can build up so it can create pockets of fluids and stuff or whatever else in our face. It's more detailed than that. But if you look up lymph massages and facial face massages and things like that, and lymph node drainage, it'll go into more detail. But this woman was going so hard in the conversation. It's okay if we learn how to love. She was like, I do love myself. She said, but I recognize that the more stress that I had caused premature aging. It's not that I don't love myself. She was like, I was stressed, and it reminds me of the time when I was stressed. I would not have this problem at this age. I think she was like 30 or 40. She said, I would not have had this problem at this age if I was not so stressed. If I could fix it, I'm going to fix it. I'm like, right. Like, because certain things are not just natural. I do not think that stress related aging is natural. It's not natural because stress isn't natural. Our body may go through flight, freeze, and fawn or whatever, but to stay in a constant state of stress, it's not natural. It shows our environment and the things that we are going through. So, fixing those issues or finding remedies to what's causing aging, I don't think there's a problem with that. And she was going so, and somebody had a comment. Somebody was like, if she's like, it's okay if you're drooping and you're saggy and your skin is dry and you want to be okay with that. That's perfectly fine. She's like, but not everybody is okay with that. That's okay. Because people was trying to like be nice and I do love myself and somebody just had to come through and be like, honey, if you want an excuse to not do nothing to your body, just don't do nothing. But trying to convince other people to not upgrade themselves is it's weird. Because it comes off like you want all of us to be ugly with you, not just like you should love yourself. It comes off like saying, well, if this person wants to fix something that I have on my body, then that means that there's something wrong with me. Baby, that's a you problem. Because who said that? You're projecting. Who said that? Who said that? They don't like it on them. If you like it on you, which women going that hard, they tend to not like it either. They just want an excuse to not have to do anything about it. They want it to be validated. It's like the women in the body positivity movement. So many women was like, I love myself, but they were crying on Instagram and TikTok about how they couldn't get a date or how they felt this and how they didn't feel pretty in their clothes and stuff. And I'm just like, well, then do something about it or shut the fuck up. Trying to convince people who didn't want to date them and didn't want to fuck them that they were fuckable and dateable. Go date somebody who wants to date and fuck you. There's a reason why people who don't want to date and fuck you keeps coming after you because they can sense your low self-esteem, baby, and they want to make you feel like shit. No, that's not a good thing. And yes, that means that that person is a problem. But a lot of times we can not just attract, because some of us can attract all types. It's who we keep around and who we entertain that makes the difference. The person is the problem for being attracted to you because I did love when my big girls were telling people, baby, just because I'm big, just because I'm fat, doesn't mean I have low self esteem. Who the fuck told you that? And it was the women that you could tell took care of themselves. They enjoy getting their hair done, they enjoy getting their makeup done, or they enjoy putting together an outfit, whatever it was. They had some type of hobby or some type of creativity thing. You could see the love radiating. Like fat women who love themselves, there is a glow. And I ain't talking about makeup. When they smile, it's not a I'm faking a smile. It is an internal outside glow, like smile. And you can tell they truly love themselves. My growing up, my cousin had a friend who was fat. And she wasn't fat when she was younger. Um she gained weight, I think, after high school, like so many of us had. And her friend, my family member, tried so hard to get her to change herself, but she only wanted skinny women around her and thin women around her. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You are allowed to cultivate the circle of people that you want around you. Don't try to convince anybody that that's not a problem. But where it becomes a problem is when you try to change other people. If you only want skinny folks around you or people who are focused on health around you, because that's me. I want people who are focused on health. I do. I do. Because I've been around too many sick people who weren't focused on health. And then they wanted me to cut to gather around and help take care of them when they had preventable health issues, had they prioritized health. So, no, if you have preventable health issues, and for example, I had a friend, I said, I could come and meet you and we can walk together. Like we used to, because we used to walk everywhere, of course, growing up in DC. Oh, to be dumb and digmatized. This girl was like, no, it's okay. Her baby daddy basically is gonna work out with me. Nigga never worked out with her. Matter of fact, they broke up. So I brought it up again. I was like, we can work out together. We can walk. We can go to a yoga class together. I think it'd be fun because we were about the same size. And I was trying to get more. starting to prioritize how I felt. And she's like, no, that's okay. Meanwhile, complaining about her weight constantly. Meanwhile, complaining about how sluggish she felt. Meanwhile, complain, but didn't want to do nothing about it. I got tired of complaining. This girl was almost 300 pounds, went and got laser lipo, multiple sessions, kept eating the way that she was eating. And they were talking about something, it didn't stick, it didn't work, it was a waste of money. And we were out to eat with one of my other friends. And you know how black people give a look to each other? We both gave each other a look. Like, you gonna tell her? 'Cause I was like, well, when you get laser, you have to keep up a certain diet and exercise. You can't just get the laser, just like you can't just get the lipo or whatever, and just keep eating the way that you want to. You have to maintain it. And then she just looked at she looked at me and then like changed the subject, and I looked at my other friend, and we were just like, yeah, that's gonna be like talking to a brick wall. Ain't no. Essentially, the girl was slow. She was not that bright. She was. She was not bright at all. I will not be around people who constantly complain about their health, just like they constantly complain about their finances, and they only want to complain and they don't want to do anything about it. First and second time, come on and vent, baby. I'm listening because I get the frustration, especially when you're at the beginning of that frustration. You sometimes you just got to get it out. You got to get it out. But when situations come and you just constantly want to continue to complain, and your friends start to level up or start to do better health wise, relationship and finances, whatever, and all you doing is complaining, and you're that's nice, and oh, must be nice, and oh, wish that was me, and oh, well, your genetics, and oh, well, this, that, and the third. No, honey, there's work that has to be done. You don't want to do that work, but you also want somebody who is actually doing that work to listen to you complain, that you should get the benefit of the work that somebody put in, even though you're not putting in any work. And that's fine if there's a solution and you can get that work. But there are quick solutions out here now for health, for wealth, and everything, and people are still not doing it. They still want to complain because they want somebody else to come and fix it for them. But they also want that same person to listen to them, bitch. I will not be a part of that. Nope. That goes for health and certain things that can be avoided. I even, because this person had a child, I know, and I even told her, I told her about all the things that your body can go through after you have a child or after you get pregnant. Even if you don't carry the pregnancy to term, there's a lot of stuff that your hormones or your body goes through after you get pregnant, and especially the longer you are pregnant. And I was like, child, and without saying it, I was like, I know your mother. And this girl had been slim her entire life and then started thinking up the older she got. I'm like, it may not be that easy. And looked down and looked up, and this girl was almost 300 pounds. And I don't know why. I guess that was her way of venting and being emotionally vulnerable, whatever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Especially when you attempt to be supportive to people, at that point, you just gotta back up. So I'm like, I see exactly what you're doing and I can tell you how to fix it. But if you just want to complain, I've been around people who just want to complain and it's 20 years have passed and you still doing the same complaining. That's why I don't have the tolerance for it. So I'm not going to be a good friend to you if all you want to do is vent and complain without actually trying to change anything about it, you know? So hell, even therapists these days won't just let you vent and complain. They're gonna be like, okay, so what you gonna do about it? Because you some people go to therapy just so they can vent and complain, but even there are more therapists now who are more solution based. Like, because you can pay me the $200 or however much money you pay me every session to just vent and complain, but you're complaining that your life not getting better. So after you get it out, okay, so what are we going to do about it? And that's usually when certain people start going to therapy because they just they want an excuse. And that's perfectly fine. Some people need an excuse for 5, 10, 15 years. It's your life. If you want an excuse, go find one. But don't be mad if the people who aren't giving you excuses leave. Don't be mad at the people who want to see you glow and actually give you solutions because they want to see you glow. Don't be mad when they leave or when they get tired of you venting. You can't be mad. You can't. You can feel some type of way. You can absolutely be hurt. But at some point, you have to say, I'm tired of talking about the same damn thing. I'm tired of looking at the same damn body that I know I really don't like as much as I say that I do. Because one thing about me, I will always talk about how much I love myself big. Child, I was actually, other than now, because I worked on myself inner. So when I lost weight, at first I felt like, whoa, and this is a lot of weight that's gone. I've never been this small before, and it felt unfamiliar. But I still love myself. I still had peace. I still had that foundation that I worked so hard over the last few years to build. So I was like, yeah, I love myself at any size. Like, and truly, child, anybody that I've dated, and that's why I love dating secure people. Anybody that I've dated has pointed out how much I look at myself in the mirror. And not like just pulling out a mirror and just looking at myself, but if I walk past a mirror or a reflection, I'm like looking at myself like, ooh, I look cute. Or just looking. Because it took years. I built this self-esteem brick by brick. So yeah, I'm a rebel in it. There's a girl that I went on a date with, and I think I went on a date twice with her. Hope she's doing okay. She was sweet. And we were in some store. Oh, yeah, I think it was Steve Madden. We was looking at shoes. And I kept walking past mirrors and looking at myself. And she's like, you, and she pointed out, she was like, you know, you every time you pass a mirror, you look at yourself. And that was when I didn't really notice it. She was really, and she was like, yeah, she was like, I think it's cute. She's like, because you look good. So I love the fact that you know you look good. And it was a guy that I was there. He pointed out the same thing. He was like, I love how much you look at yourself. Like, and I could tell that he actually meant it. Those are the people you want to be around. The ones that ain't like, oh, why you always looking at yourself? You're so self obsessed. No. When you have substance and you still love looking at yourself, and people are like, go ahead, keep looking at yourself. It's like when I had one of my closest friends at the time, she was insecure, but she still like looking at herself. And I definitely encouraged. I say she was insecure because of like old, you know how old wounds still kind of linger sometimes. That's very valid because sometimes, like I've recorded this before, and said there was still some old shit that was not my thought. That was a thought, an opinion about myself that was implanted into me, based off of how I look. And I was like, I never felt this way about myself. This was other people's shit. And what other people got to do with me? Not a goddamn thing. They ain't gotta be in my body. But I would always encourage that. And then she got this mirror at her in her place where in her apartment it had the LED mirrors around the mirror. I was like, oh girl, your skin, because she would have had this pretty dark chocolate skin, that glow. And I could tell when she was stressed because the drier her skin was, I could tell her self care wasn't up, and not that she needed to be like obsessed with it, but I could tell she wasn't feeling her best. To me, when you're not doing anything for yourself, those are the women that I'm talking about that try to convince women that they should be okay with however they look. I'm like, I could tell you don't do nothing for yourself. and you want people to be okay with it, but your insecurities radiate through the screen. You want people to say your lack of effort is enough. And I was like, I've seen people who get with partners who say that, and they are some terrible combinations. They are some terrible people. Like my ex's father married this woman, and he only married her because she was coddling him and took care of him, even though she nagged him, but she loved him for some reason. I don't think she thought she could do better. It was a white woman. She was so nice. She was so nice, and we actually had conversations. And that was the first time I ever felt bad for a white woman. Because she told us, I remember having conversations with her and my boyfriend at the time, and she no, it was actually with me. It was just me with one of the conversations. She said told me about her first two marriages. One guy was like a terrible alcoholic, abusive and everything, so he tore down her self esteem. Got divorced from him. I think he had a lot of money. Got divorced from him. The second guy loved the ground she walked on, but he was kind of she just wasn't feeling him. And I think they were married for like years, like over 10 years, if not 10, 15. And they're still friends at the time when she was telling me this. She just had to accept that it wasn't fair that she didn't feel that way about him and let him move on. And she was like, and he is so sweet that he actually understood that. And I think she said that he knew. He was like, I think I knew this whole time. And I just didn't want to let you go, but it wasn't like obsessive. It was really just like, okay. And she was like, I hope you find the person that you are supposed to be with because you deserve that. And I think she said he was dating somebody last we talked. This was a few years ago, but they were still friends. Like, and I think they got a divorce, and she got money from him. I was like, go ahead, Miss Ma'am. One thing, one thing about some white women and other women, black women, we gotta take notes because she got money from both of those marriages. Um, and I think, oh yeah, but her self esteem was so torn down still from her other marriage that she should have been by herself. And not to say that she shouldn't have been dating, but she needed some time to not focus her energy into a man. She needed to focus that energy into her. Date, yes. But the other energy of your time should not be focused on the person that you're dating. It should be poured into you. So there's a balance because she was so insecure. But when I would come over and she would see me, even though I wouldn't dress up, I'm always overdressed wherever I go. My mother was a debutante, so to speak, and grew up in the 50s and the 60s where Diane Carroll was the it girl. So, even fake pearl clip on earrings, the jewelry was worn. I don't do jewelry much. I don't do jewelry much, but I'm gonna put together a fit, even if it's just a dress and like my boots. And where I've been living in the country, just like in the city where I lived, I always end up overdressed compared to other people. And in the country, I understand because you probably just got off of a farm. You just put your pigs away. But we got pigs too. So if I was doing all of that, yeah, jeans and a sweatshirt. It's okay, lady. I know you just finished milking a cow. I am not going to judge you for dressing. Certain lifestyles I don't judge for not being quote unquote put together because I've worked on a farm and I know the physical labor. That's why I'm leaving. That you got to go through. You ain't. At most, you deserve to take a bath and relax. You deserve to take a bath. But I'm always going on a detour. It's always a journey on these things, right? My ex's stepmom, when she was around me, because she saw how put together I look, and it was not too much. I would do my eyebrows, I would do my eyeliner, because that was when I was coming out of grief. So I still didn't have the energy to do what I love to do, and that was to get glam. I do enjoy getting glam, but I have to have the energy for it. I have to. If I don't, it's not happening. Which is why I prioritize rest and I build a lifestyle and a life where I don't have to do too much. It's possible because I realize that my main priority I want it to be me and taking care of me. I love when I glow. I love when I put together an outfit because I love fashion. I love when I pour that beauty into me. I love it. I genuinely love it. I don't feel like it's a performance or performative. I only felt it was performative when I was trying to compete under capitalism and patriarchy. That's why there's a lot of women who are rejecting it. That's it. That's the only reason why there are women who are rejecting it. Because it's been used as a weapon, and not by women, but by men, to make women feel like if you do this, you're doing it for a man. And some women are, to peacocking. Well, men peacock. But for generations, people have used beauty products to look more attractive for thousands of years. Like they found the proof. For thousands of years, people have used beauty products and makeup to adorn themselves. It's an art. So because of patriarchy and misogyny, it's become a chore. An attack on capitalism, and women are already exhausted and tired. The last thing on their minds is quote unquote beautifying themselves or adorning themselves. So some women have been taught to hate the beauty ritual process. But some of them wish they could actually do it. I could tell by the conversations that they have. I could tell by the comments that they leave. They're always underneath of comment sections of women beautiful doing their beauty rituals. I'm like, because you wish you could have that lifestyle, and that's okay. You were cheated. Am I Cheyenne from Reba? If you watch Reba's show, I love Reba. Me and my mother used to watch Reba all the time. That show is so fucking funny. Bring back funny white people shows. They get one like every few years. It's like they're trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but Reba was genuinely funny. Her daughter Cheyenne felt she got cheated out of Homecoming Queen. She just kept yelling, "I was robbed!" all episode. Every time somebody would bring it, "I was robbed." They would just look at her like, "Girl, but you were robbed of that." And the only way you will be able to fall in love with that, because I could tell so many women want to, and there are quite a few who secretly want to, and they're pretending that they don't to prove a point. It's like the ugly feminists. That's why ugly feminists are a joke. Because, and I say ugly, they're the ones who make themselves uglier because they don't want to be attractive to men. That's trauma there. And it's okay. But they also want other women to be ugly too. But they don't actually want to be ugly. They want to feel safe. And when I say ugly, I don't mean natural features. I mean you let yourself go. You make yourself unpresentable, and not in a superficial way. In a way that's like rarely moisturize. You let yourself get really ugly. Either stay out in the sun way too long or you hide it. It's things that people subconsciously do or women subconsciously do to shrink themselves. And I'm not even just talking about not using beauty products. Some women dress a certain way to hide themselves because they don't feel safe. I've done it. Some women carry themselves a certain way that you could see, and not just a resting bitch face, because I have a resting bitch face. I do, naturally. Like if I relax my face, I look like I'm judging the fuck out of people. And somebody said um, that I look intimidating to approach. It was a girl. She was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know." She was like, "You." Like she complimented me, and I think she was taken aback by how like my face lit up. It's like, "Oh my god, thank you." But I have a resting bitch face just naturally. But there's some women who will scowl on purpose to make themselves look more threatening, to make themselves look more unattractive, and it's protection. Because I mean, duh, we live in this world. You have to be living under a rock, or you have to be in complete delulu denial under misogyny to not know what women have had to deal with. Or you're so much of a victim yourself that in order to cope, you've had to lie to yourself. It's okay, honey. It's okay. Yeah, we're working on undoing that and unlearning that. Women deserve to be beautiful. And I mean the energy that we pour into ourselves. Because there are women who want to convince other women that it's okay to be ugly. It's okay to not put good energy into yourself. And I know that you have been touched by misogyny. I mean, we all have, but I mean, it's still deeply rooted in you because there is a disdain and an just such a is visceral the right word? Visceral mean? No, that is not it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I use that right. Relating to deep inward feelings rather than to the intellect. I like looking up. Yep, yep, yep. I use that right. Okay, go me. Yay me. London Tipton. Yay me. Okay, that's a big word for Elmo. A visceral feeling is a deep, instinctive, and often emotional response that arises from deep within, bypassing rational thought. Okay, so it's often described as gut feeling, but bypassing rational. The term literally relates to the body internal organs, the viscera, and figuratively, it means to experience something intensely and physically. For example, a visceral reaction. Oh, it more so mean okay, physically. It more so means okay. I've seen people use it to mean but it did say often emotional. Okay. But it's related to it. Could be a sudden urge of adrenaline, a tightening in your stomach, or a strong, immediate sense of distrust or joy. Okay, so I believe I used that right. It's like a visceral reaction to a woman that dares to beautify herself or pour beautiful energy to herself because maybe when that woman did it, she was attacked. So she relates anybody doing a beautiful ritual, a beauty ritual, or pouring beautiful energy into themselves to help them relax or feel better, to just adorn themselves. Cosmetics are cosmic. They are, what's the word? Sacred. Not just protection, but they are sacred. They're good. It's misogyny that makes it bad. Or make it feel like we are over performing. And sometimes you are. I enjoy the performance. I love to entertain. I love to entertain. I do. But I understand why some women don't. But to want other women to de-beautify themselves and to let themselves go and to just relax into looking gross and saggy when they don't have to. And I say gross and saggy because I'm sorry, not everybody's beautiful. I don't give a fuck who feels a certain type of way. Not every body is beautiful. Some bodies got enough wrinkles to to open a bakery. But sometimes it didn't have to. Why do you look 80 at 30 and 40? That means that there's some level of stress. That means that there is something going on in your vicinity, in your genetics, or something that has altered your body. I truly believe that. That's not natural. We made it natural. We made it something that's normal. But when it comes to a certain level of stress that your body is being put through that is aging you, I came out looking like Benjamin Button. I will show my baby pictures. I have no shame. I like Medea. Dude, I never seen that baby just look so old. It makes me want to break out in song. Swing low. I was an old looking baby, and to me, I think that's powerful because, matter of fact, you know what's funny? I still haven't seen Benjamin Button. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen that I want to watch, and I think I will because I heard it was good, and there's a cult message in there. I know it is. But some people have reincarnated in old souls because I've always felt like I was the oldest person in the room, even when I was around a bunch of adults. There are some people that I felt their decisions were very childlike. And when I was 10 to 15 years old, I'm like, I wouldn't have made that decision. And you made that decision. And you're 30, 40 years my senior. Why did you make that decision? So I usually felt like I was the oldest one in the room as a child. Of course, not with all the knowledge that the adults had. Just the way that I carry myself, I always carried myself like I was an older woman. I did, which is why I'm so playful now. There was a combination of having to and popping out of the womb, just Miss Mary. So the older I got, the more youthful my energy has been, the more youthful my presence has been, the more youthful I look from the inside out. The happier I actually am, honestly. You know? So when I see women who look old, it doesn't do what they think it does for the women who are trying to convince people, oh, like yourself as you are, even though it's preventable. Betty White is a good example. Cicely Tyson was a good example. Eartha Kitt was a good example. I have so many examples. That's why I think it's bullshit, because I grew up with so many women who, even if they weren't 100% happy all the time, the ones that radiated a peace and confidence, even the older they got, they looked so youthful. Betty White was believable that she was older, but her face radiated a youth and her energy. I used to love watching her show with the senior citizens when they were playing the pranks and stuff. That's the type of old person I want to be. Not like pranks necessarily, but that not taking life so goddamn seriously. Like it's already hard out here. Laugh a little. I could tell when somebody has been through some shit that they haven't actually processed yet because their entire body looks constipated. That book, The Body Remembers, or The Body Keeps Score, it does. And I could tell when women are still holding on. Not saying that they gotta just release it like it's easy, but I could tell when they're still holding on to so many of their issues because it comes out physically. My mother started to look younger the older that she got. Right up until the very end, I want to say it wasn't until like 2 years prior to her passing that she actually started to age. But she still looked really good for her age. She actually started to age, I want to say maybe 6 months prior to her passing. I started to notice her age. But she always looked younger. And as she looked younger the older she got. People thought she was in her 40s when she was in her 60s because she radiated a light and a glow. And people were trying to figure out, oh, what products do you use? How's your diet? And she was, diet's pretty good, whatever. But it's also, I laugh a lot. Betty White said the same thing. So sometimes it's not even just the diet, it's also how you carry yourself. Because there's been plenty of women that was like, oh, I smoke and I drink. Guess what? I ain't got a man in my house. Guess what? I didn't have kids. Guess what? All my kids are grown and know they can't move back in my house. So there was stress. Usually the stress in relation to a man, because kids are in relation to a man. Hello. Because women would be like, I love my kids. I'm like, yeah, you still look stressed, honey. I guarantee you, if you didn't have that man, you wouldn't be stressed. That man gave you them kids. Not like you went out and said, I'm going to go get pregnant because I want to have kids. That's different. you you had to deal with his DNA inside of your body, honey. You've been stressed since conception. But we're learning. None of this shit we knew 40, 50 years ago. Some women instinctively knew, and some did pass on certain stories. Some of us were not, some of us had to either learn from experience or learn from watching the women in our family and say, that will not be me. So I do not trust women who want women to be ugly. You don't like women. You don't even like yourself. You don't like yourself. Because I even guarantee you, in a matriarchal society, women would be doing their beauty rituals even more because we would be helping each other. Those videos or those pictures of women sitting all in a line doing each other's hair, yeah, it wouldn't feel like a performance, then it would really feel like a ritual. So you have to, it's imperative, it would behoove you, in the voice of my middle school music teacher, it would behoove you to put a focus on a life where you get to be more feminine. Over the next year, start adding more things, more rituals into your life beauty rituals, and start taking out things and people that don't allow you to be in your feminine energy. It's necessary. It's a requirement now. Well, I don't want to hear it. It's a requirement now. So over the next year, yes, next year, you got to make that a priority. Outside of children, you got to make that a priority. If that man is stressing you out, get rid of him. If that job is stressing you out, there are many ways to make money online. Visit the blog, callmedivine.com. I got many ways. I got all the sources. There's no excuse anymore. You have to. You have to. But like I said, there are so many women who, and I study the skin. I'm not a dermatologist, but the skin is a special interest of mine. I love everything having to do with beauty. You can blame my Taurus rising if you want to. I'm Venusian. I love things that are aesthetically pleasing and that look beautiful. And that doesn't necessarily just mean surface level stuff. But like I said, I love there's you can tell there's a difference, and some people can't see it. I talk about aging when I can tell it's not natural. I don't like it. Like I said, Betty White was literally a few days, maybe. Yeah, I think a day shy of 100. That one was beautiful. I love the way that she oh my goodness, to see her on screen, even up to whenever she stopped appearing on screen, I was just like, she looks so beautiful and radiant. She radiated light up until the day that she died. Well, whenever they stopped, she stopped appearing in front of a camera. And some women age gracefully because they have less stress. I have aunts that, ooh, they have looked 20, 30 to 30 years older than they have since I was a child because many years of doing drugs. I have an aunt that did a lot of drugs before I was born, and she stays stressed. She's so used to stress that if she has a moment of peace, I think my mother dying kind of shocked her because she always was looked at such a healthy, radiant light that when she died, for some of us, it sent like a shock wave through our entire lives. It needed to happen. And my mother died of stress. So I think not too soon after, my aunt retired and she started traveling. When I tell you the last time I saw her, she looked so good, the best I had ever seen her look. And she also stopped taking on her children's responsibilities, which were her great grandkids. She said, I love my grandkids, but she was trying to overcompensate because she wasn't the best mother because of the drugs. So she was trying to overcompensate. So she had to stop doing that. My other aunt's still going through it, but years and years of drinking because of traumas and stuff. Ugh. She's also looked old since before I go. Stress is not natural. And that is what ages women the most. Men. a a man who drains you. Men, period. That could go your brother, uncle, father, whatever else, boss, man in your life, neighbor. A man who a friend who drains you is not a man that needs to be in your life. If a man is not pouring into you, women take, men give. That's what masculine energy is. Masculine energy does. We have it both. But a man who is too feminine takes more than a woman. I've seen it, watched it, experienced all of that. A woman will never drain as maliciously as a man does. Women are supposed to drain men. We're supposed to take their energy because men can refuel their energy a lot quicker than we can. The more testosterone you have in your body, it's easier, along with a few other energy wise, is different. So a man who has low testosterone in his body is a bitch. And it's so funny. My brain is so full. I'm channeling right now, so my brain is so focused on. It's just so focused on talking that I had a thought in my head that I was going to say the scientific version because I study these things now. I literally kicked that out of my head and said and went with that. He's a bitch. He's literally a bitch, and he should not be in your life. The only man who should be whining, he is not a man. He's a child. He's a baby. He is under the age of 18. Because to me, by 18 or 21, you should have some type of stability, but we know that's not the case. He's under the age of 18. The only one who should be, because he's still going through puberty. He's a child. He is a baby. To me, if you're under 18, you're a baby. Enjoy it, please. If you're listening to this and you are between the ages of 18 and 21, enjoy it. Okay? Have fun. Do not lock yourself into a relationship. Please don't, unless it's a healthy. If it's a healthy one and it maintains the healthiness, that freshness, yeah, do. But if not, kick it to the curb. Enjoy that. But the only male who should be whining or who should be frustrated or anything like that is a child. And I mean, you know what I mean. I ain't even gotta explain that. You know exactly what I mean. We've met some whiny ass men. And it was just like, nigga, stop bitching. Fuck. Like you bitching because you want a mom. You're not even like expressing just pure frustration. You're just bitching. Because I've met emotionally healthy men, and they don't bitch. They may cry. They may be frustrated. They don't bitch. So get that bitch out of your life. The only bitch you should have in your life is a female dog. Yes, even on the back of medical boxes for dogs, it says bitches. It says a bitch. It doesn't say female dog. It says a bitch. We had some deworming medication for the puppies that we had, and it said a bitch. I can't remember what it said for. I think it said male dogs. Oh, yeah, I think it said male dog, but it said for a bitch, age X, Y, and Z to X, Y, and Z, give this many drops. Yep. Only bitch you should have in your life is Lassie. Mm, mm. For some of this, I know I uh, rambled, but this is why I put these out. If you like hearing me ramble, and as always, I'll make an accompanying video where I have actual bullet points, to stay on topic. So it'll be a shorter video. So these are how I get. Because at first I was like, oh, I want to try to stay on topic for the podcast. No, when I do my audio, for the most part, unless I turn a video into a podcast episode, it'll be my rambles. It'll be me just talking, and I like it that way. But yeah, I know I repeated a lot of points over and over again. So hopefully it's stuck in your head. I said it so many times. But we getting rid of stress. And more importantly, it won't be for the approval of man or approval of society. It'll be for us because there are so many women at a disadvantage, and a lot of them want to be beautiful. I could tell. I could tell in the way that they talk about women and accepting them for who they are. You want to be beautiful. You want to get all of these services done, but you were told that that makes you vulnerable. You were, and not just told, you experienced it. So now you don't like it. You see it as something that puts you at risk. But the source of that is not your beauty, baby. The source of that risk is not your beauty. The problem is society. Yes, you have to stay more protected. You do. You absolutely do. Like I always say, I keep that thing on me. Because I attract a lot of energy leeches and vampires. Well, energy leeches. I attract a lot of those people who want to do me harm sometimes. That's why I don't go to certain places. That's why I stay away from certain types of people. You, yes, there's somebody that's going to harm you in every bunch, but people who have the least will do the most to take what you have. And that doesn't just go for money. If somebody has the least emotional balance or whatever else, or they feel you have more than they do, even if they got a lot of money, they will try to take that. But I've experienced it more from people who had less financially, people who had less emotionally or love wise. I've experienced that a hell of a lot more, for example, in the hood, because those energies and frequencies tend to be a lot lower unless it's in a household by household situation. But being hood adjacent, hell, even some middle class, there's a lot of vampire leeches there because they're still not at the top. They're still lacking. And then when you get to the top, because I've been around the top 1%, some of them, depending on how they grew up, are still very insecure in themselves emotionally, or maybe self-esteem wise, or they still have trauma from their childhood they haven't dealt with, and they think the money is going to be what traveling here and there and having the latest this and that. They think that's going to supplement for how they feel about themselves. So they see that and want to take that from you. I am very well traveled. I've been around a lot of people. And when people tend to meet me, they think that I'm very naive and inexperienced and stuff. I've been all around the world. I've been all around the world. And I ain't literally talking about all around the world. I've been in circles with a number of different people. I've been around the poorest of the poor, literally. And I've been around those making well over $1 million to $10 million a year. And there are traits that mirror each other in every single group. It's just that, of course, when people don't have their basic necessities, it's going to be more what's the word, concentrated. Thank you. It's going to be more concentrated. Those energies are going to be more concentrated in that area because there's not much other distraction, which is why they work very hard to keep people poor, because they don't, they don't want that. They want that energy concentrated in that area so that they can use it. Okay. And I'm working on my site. I'm working on something special. I'm not going to say it just yet until it's all set up. Oh, new chapters, new everything. And I'm going full into the beauty world that I've been so in love with for so many years. And that's why I bring up women who want to be beautiful, but they reject it because misogyny, because I used to do. I love beauty. I love everything having to do with it, the products and the ritual and the steps and the makeup. I love everything having to do with it. And I'm recording this on a Venus Day. Venus Day is Friday. It felt like so much work trying to, that's how you know it's not natural, trying to live in that world of capitalism and misogyny whilst trying to be just a girl. That's why I'm Just a Girl came out. I'm just a girl. That's why that came out, because we have been trying to be so much and compete with men, and we forgot exactly who the fuck we were. Some women are embracing their power. Absolutely, that's the beauty part. I love that. And some are embracing their femininity because we had to embrace our hard side for so long. And I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. But I'm an intelligent woman. I'm a goddess who loves and indulges in the things that they say that I shouldn't. And that by that I mean like beauty, ritual, and stuff like that. Ooh, it's so superficial. Shut the fuck up. In my little Kim voice, if you heard what's the name of that song that she did for Nicki Minaj? Pink Friday the 13th? Whatever the fuck it was called. It was good. Mm. So I'm out. Bye.